Welcome to the Risk Wheelhouse, the podcast where we navigate the ever-changing seas of risk management and technology. Join your hosts, Ori Wellington and Sam Jones, as they steer you through the latest trends, insights, and strategies shaping the future of integrated risk management. Ready to chart a course towards success? Hop aboard and let's set sail into today's deep dive.
So I was just unwinding recently Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. Some kayaking, hiking, even camped out in the wilderness for a bit. And, being out there, it really drove home something important, this critical need to navigate unexpected terrain, right? And be ready for, anything, which actually sets up our deep dive perfectly today. Because modern business, it's increasingly a landscape of hidden weak spots, unexpected disruptions. We're zeroing in on how just one single point of failure, in these interconnected systems we rely on, how that can cascade, cause real widespread chaos. In our case study today, it's pretty stark. It's the recent cyber attack on United Natural Foods, Inc., UNFI, the main distributor for Whole Foods. But look, don't think it's just some grocery story. It's really not. It's more like a structural parable, the kind of blueprint for fragility that honestly applies to almost every industry out there. So our mission for this deep dive, we want to really unpack the risks, the big risks of the single point fragility, and then explore how integrated risk management, IRM, can actually turn these vulnerabilities into, strategic resilience. You'll get some crucial insights, things you can act on quickly and thoroughly. That's the goal. Okay, let's jump right in. Picture the scene. June 7th, 2025, what basically happened was a sort of silent node in the North American supply chain just collapsed. We're talking UNFI. This is a huge operation, like a $30+ billion logistics backbone, supporting over 30,000 stores across the U.S. and Canada. And this cyber attack had forced them. They had to take their systems offline, which just brought deliveries to a screeching halt immediately.
Yeah, instantly. And the domino effect, it was incredibly visible, very fast. You saw shelves at Whole Foods, other grocers just start emptying out, a real problem for shoppers. And the employees, they were basically told to use one line. We are experiencing temporary supply challenges. Kind of an understatement.
You think?
Oh, yeah. Because online, you saw these pictures going viral, right? Empty refrigerators, bare shelves. The reality was pretty stark. And the financial hit just as direct. UNFI stock, it tanked. Lost nearly $300 million in market value.
Wow.
In just 2 trading sessions. And their systems. Weeks later, they were still only partially back online. What this whole thing really exposed, I think, is that a lot of our modern supply chain, it's operating under this illusion of resilience.
Illusion of resilience.
Yeah. It shows how this whole just-in-time efficiency model, which everyone chased, it's now colliding head-on with an era where just one point of failure can unravel, everything. The core lesson here, it's pretty undeniable. Concentration breeds collapse.
Concentration breeds collapse. That really hits home. But okay, let's unpack this because... Isn't concentration often the goal? I mean, businesses try to centralize, reduce redundancy for efficiency's sake. So what's the blind spot? What does UNFI show us about that pursuit?
That's the fascinating part, isn't it? It's a paradox. For decades, operational efficiency, it's sort of masqueraded as strategic foresight. It looked smart.
Streamlining?
Exactly. Minimizing costs, maximizing output. That led to single-source dependencies, almost no inventory buffers, centralized logistics. These became like hallmarks of good performance.
Okay.
But what got missed was the inherent brittleness that introduces. You asked about the blind spot.
Yeah.
It's failing to see how focusing only on efficiency creates a system that's, brittle by design. It makes companies look integrated, efficient on the surface, but really, they're often held together by just one thread, one vulnerable thread.
So the very things meant to make systems strong, in a way, makes them fragile. And you're saying this isn't just food logistics, right? This brittle by design thing, where else is it playing out?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere. It's pervasive. Just think about any business that relies heavily on one single vendor for something critical. Could be claims processing and insurance, customer onboarding for a bank, cloud hosting, obviously.
Sure.
Even third-party risk data providers or operational analytics platforms. The issue is, as we've transformed supply chains and business processes, that transformation has outpaced our visibility into those chains. So the interconnectedness has grown way faster than our ability to actually map it, to understand the dependencies. So a company might look really slick and integrated.
But underneath,
its core functions might be silently exposed by just one failure point somewhere out in their network. Could be a vendor, could be a vendor's vendor.
Okay, that paints a pretty clear picture, and frankly, kind of a concerning one. widespread fragility.
Hmm.
So given that reality, what's the answer? What's the fundamental solution here? This is where integrated risk management, IRM, comes in, I assume.
That's right.
And how is it really different? How does it change the game compared to, say, just having traditional GRC software ticking boxes?
Yeah, good question. It's a fundamental shift. IRM isn't just another platform you buy, it's really an operating model. The big difference is it provides this enterprise-wide lens. It unifies risk intelligence. So instead of having, siloed GRC programs, maybe flagging a compliance issue over here,
Right.
or a tech team finding a vulnerability over there, IRM connects the dots. It aligns your risk appetite, what you're willing to risk, directly with your business performance goals. It links cyber exposure, like we saw with UNFI, to your core operational processes. And it integrates policy assurance, what your contracts say, with real-time data, real telemetry. This unified view, it helps companies dismantle that illusion of safety you get from over-optimized brittle systems. It's built around something called the IRM Navigator model. It has 4 strategic goals: performance, resilience, assurance, compliance, and 4 key integration points: ERM, ORM, TRM, and GRC itself. Enterprise, operational, technology risk, and governance.
That sounds, well, comprehensive. A whole operating model. And I like how you put that connecting cyber exposure directly to operations. That seems key.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, how does this translate into action? Like practically, what are the steps a company takes to build this kind of resilience using IRM?
Okay, yeah, let's get practical. It really starts with asset visibility, step 1. So take the UNFI case. Imagine if Whole Foods had proactively mapped its critical product families, every important SKU.
Okay.
Mapped them to the specific distribution centers, the transport systems used, and the underlying warehouse management software running it all. If they'd had that level of detailed insight, they might have flagged potential cyber risks in that specific part of their supply chain way before any shelves went empty. That granular mapping, it's absolutely crucial. You have to see the components first.
Got it. See the moving parts.
Exactly. Then step 2 is operational rehearsal. Now, most companies, they run cybersecurity drills for their own IT systems. That's pretty standard.
Sure, fire drills for IT.
Right. But how many actively simulate what happens if a critical third-party vendor like your main distributor just goes dark, completely offline for, say, 48 hours or longer? Under an IRM approach, you'd run tabletop exercises, simulations, that rigorously model these vendor failures as core business risks, not just IT problems.
Okay, so you practice the failure.
You practice the failure, you get cross-functional teams together, ops, logistics, legal, comms, and you figure out contingency workflows. You identify alternative suppliers before you need them. You figure out exactly what you'll tell stores, customers. The whole point is to prepare in advance, not scramble when disaster strikes. There's a great quote from John A. Wheeler, the physicist, actually, that applies here. You didn't lose control. You never had it. You outsourced it, then stopped looking.
That's blunt. Stop looking.
It is blunt, but it captures it perfectly. You outsource critical functions, then you stop paying close enough attention. But just rehearsing isn't enough. You need accountability. Real teeth. And this is where enterprise risk management, ERM, plays a vital role within the IRM framework. The executive team, maybe even the board, needs to define concrete concentration thresholds as part of their official risk appetite.
Meaning?
Meaning clear rules. For example, a rule might be no single product category or no customer segment that brings in more than 30% of our revenue can depend on just one single vendor.
Okay, setting limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Setting clear limits. And if you have to deviate from that for some strategic reason, it needs explicit, documented sign-off from the board. That elevates this kind of vendor concentration risk from an operational detail to a top-level strategic concern.
Right. It forces the conversation at the highest level.
Precisely. And then the final piece is policy assurance, making sure your contracts reflect the seriousness. So instead of just having boilerplate SLAs, service-level agreements.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the standard stuff. IRM-informed contracts embed really specific things, like ransomware-specific security attestations from the vendor, minimum recovery time objectives, RTOs saying how fast they must recover, and clear third-party audit rights so you can verify their controls. You can even require key vendors to carry robust cyber insurance that explicitly includes contingent business interruption coverage.
So that protects you if their systems go down.
Exactly. It protects you not just from their outage, but from the economic fallout that hits your business downstream.
Mm-hmm.
It's about building protection right into the partnership DNA.
That focus on proactivity, the rehearsals,
Right.
the specific contract terms, it sounds like a pretty big shift from maybe how things were done before. What are the biggest hurdles? culturally, operationally, especially with cyber threats moving so incredibly fast these days. Why is this becoming even more critical now?
Yeah, you hit on a really critical point there. Cyber events, they uniquely expose just how frail these modern business ecosystems are. And it's precisely because they move faster than traditional company response times. Much faster.
Right.
They often hit, maybe a smaller, lower tier vendor first, someone you don't even directly interact with much. Then they cascade, often through shared software platforms or interconnected systems. And it all stays pretty opaque, hidden, until the damage is already done. Irreversible sometimes.
And this isn't just theory, is it?
No, not at all. We've seen it again and again. Just think back. JBS Foods, Colonial Pipeline, Kaseya, SolarWinds, Movi-Eat.
Yeah, that's quite a list just from the last few years.
Exactly. A whole litany of major third-party cyber events with huge ripple effects. And the common thread, it's always these critical dependencies hiding in plain sight. Now, what makes IRM different from older risk management approaches isn't just getting visibility, it's about achieving true velocity, speed.
Velocity. How so?
When you integrate risk data across all those domains, technical, operational, financial, like IRM does, you don't just spot the danger faster, you can act on it almost immediately. Imagine. Automatically triggering fallback distributors the moment an issue is detected. Shifting safety stock preemptively. Rerouting deliveries in real time, alerting store managers before customers even notice a problem.
Wow. Okay.
And crucially, reporting the potential earnings exposure to the board within, say, a day, not weeks later after forensic analysis. Boards get answers in minutes or hours, not weeks. That speed, that velocity, it transforms risk from this reactive fire drill into something you can actually manage proactively. It becomes a variable you can control, somewhat.
So if a company really nails this, if they master this IRM approach and get that velocity, what does it actually mean for them long term, competitively speaking? I mean, does being truly resilient actually give you a tangible edge in the marketplace? Can people see it?
Oh, absolutely. There's clear evidence for this. Research from Wheelhouse Advisors, for instance, shows that companies with mature IRM capabilities, they recover from operational shocks, like cyber attacks or supply disruptions. Get this. 27% faster, on average, than their peers.
27% faster. That's significant.
It is, and they also see 34% fewer downstream customer complaints after an incident. And maybe most importantly for the long view, 42% lower earnings volatility over a 3-year period.
Wow. Lower volatility. The market likes that.
Exactly. So yes, resilience absolutely becomes a competitive advantage, something the market can see, measure, and ultimately reward. And it's not just the market. Regulators are increasingly looking for this. Insurers are starting to demand more mature IRM frameworks before they'll underwrite certain risks.
Makes sense.
Plus, this broad IRM architecture, it's becoming essential for managing systemic risks in all the new stuff, too. Think about third-party AI tools, autonomous agents, cloud brokers, data orchestrators, all these new layers of interdependence that are constantly emerging. IRM gives you a way to maintain stability and trust even as the technological landscape gets more complex and, frankly, more volatile.
Okay, this really underscores that it's a strategic imperative, not just a compliance thing. And like you said earlier, this is not a job for procurement, right? This is a mandate for the executive suite.
Absolutely.
So for the CEOs, the COOs, chief risk officers listening, or maybe someone reporting directly to one of them, what's the actionable playbook? What are the 5 key things they should be doing, like, right now?
Okay, yeah, let's boil it down to a 5-point checklist for the leadership team. First, conduct a comprehensive concentration risk census. You need to map out for every single revenue-critical product or service, how many active suppliers you have, what technologies they rely on, and what your contractual protections actually are. And then, this is key, publish those results internally. Make it visible.
Transparency. Okay. Number 2.
Second, mandate cyber scoring and recovery metrics in every single supplier agreement. No more vague security clauses. You need to explicitly require things like ransomware-specific controls and minimum recovery time objectives, RTOs, with actual proof, actual evidence they can meet them.
Get specific in the contracts. Got it. Third,
run a scenario simulation every single quarter. And don't just do standard IT outages. You need to simulate major vendor shutdowns, like UNFI.
Yeah.
Maybe geopolitical embargoes affecting a key region. Even simultaneous failures of a third party and one of their critical fourth-party suppliers.
Right.
Really stress test the system.
Okay, realistic, tough scenarios. Number 4.
Fourth, build a dashboard that unifies risk exposure and management. Whether you use dedicated IRM software or build an internal platform, you have to get this information out of scattered spreadsheets, legal binders, unstructured emails. You need that single pane of glass, that unified view, or the risk stays fragmented and invisible.
Makes sense. Centralize the view. And the last one, number 5.
And finally, 5th, educate the board. Make concentration risk. Make cyber-induced supply chain fragility a standing agenda item. Don't let it be a footnote. You have to link it directly to enterprise value, to brand resilience, not just frame it as a compliance chore. This is about protecting the core business, the entire enterprise.
That's a powerful checklist. Very clear actions. Looking back at the UNFI outage, it really does feel like a massive warning shot, doesn't it? Not just for grocery stores, obviously, but for any business that relies on critical dependencies, especially the ones that are often hidden from view. It really hammers home that idea.
Yeah.
The chain breaks where you can't see it.
And IRM is what ensures you see it, hopefully, before it breaks. Look, in a world that's just getting more and more interdependent, resilience isn't just about bouncing back anymore. It's really about being able to bend without breaking in the first place.
Bend without breaking. I like that. So a final thought for you, our listener, as you go about your week. Where might your own hidden dependencies lie? Maybe it's in your professional systems, a single tool you rely on, a specific team member who holds all the keys. Or maybe it's even in personal habits, things you just never question. Think about anticipating those potential vulnerabilities, because doing that, it can lead to much greater strength, much greater adaptability, really in all areas of your life.
That wraps up another episode of the Risk Wheelhouse. Thank you for spending time with us at Wheelhouse Advisors today. We hope you found the conversation insightful and actionable for your organization's risk strategies. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. If you're looking for more in-depth analysis and thought leadership on risk technology, be sure to visit the Risk Tech Journal at therisktechjournal.com. It's your go-to source for comprehensive articles, expert interviews, and the latest trends shaping the industry. Subscribe today to stay informed. For any inquiries or feedback, please contact us directly at info@wheelhouseadvisors.com, or feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn and x.com and share your thoughts or suggestions for future topics. Visit wheelhouseadvisors.com for more information and resources. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, navigate wisely.